friends, this is Ishan Mishra from noobDeveloper, and today we are going to see how to take input of double or floats using MIPS assembly language. So if you have not watched our previous videos, I recommend you to watch them first. So let's get started. This is our Visual Studio Code, File, New File, Control S. Let's save our file. .data and .text. .data contains our variable declaration. Let's create few variables or labels. So .text, which contains our program execution instruction, our main function. And so first let's print our message, enter your number. So for that, load immediate register V0 with the value of 4, and then load address register A0 with the value of message 1, then syscall. So now let's take input from user. So as now we are going to deal with floating point numbers. So for floating point numbers, add I function and immediate or the registers here don't work. So we have to use the registers from coprocessor 1, which deals with floating point numbers or double numbers. So firstly, let's tell the system that we are going to take an input of floating point number from the user. So for that, we are going to assign a value of 6 to register V0 and then syscall. So as register V0 cannot deal with the floating point numbers, so our inputted number is going to be saved in coprocessor 1 and in register F0. So yes, now let's print another message, register with the value of 4 and load address register A0 with the value of message 2 and then syscall. Now we are going to print our number, register V0 with the value of 2 for float. Now we want to move from register F0 to register F12 for printing our float number. So for that, we cannot use move pseudocode or add I. So for that, we are going to use add.s. Add.s register F12 register F1 register F0. So this means that F12 is equals to F1 plus F0. So F0 contains our input float number, and here F1 we have used because, as you can see here, in coprocessor 1, the default value of all the F registers here are 0. So F1 is also 0, F2, F3, F4. So here we can use F1, F2, F3, F4, any register you want, any F register you want. So this means that this is equals to 0 plus F0, which is equals to F0. So register F12 is equals to register F0, then syscall. And now let's end our program, V0 with the value of 10 and then syscall and then .end main, Control S. Now let's test our program. Input float, run 9.8 and hit enter, and here your number. So as you can see that output does not exactly matches the input, and the reason I have already discussed in previous video, so you can watch there. So now let's try to take a double input from the user. So for that, here we change the value to 7 to tell the system that we are going to take a double value input, and then here to value 3 to tell the system that we are going to print a double value. So a double value is of 64-bit and all the registers are of 32 bits. So for storing a double value we need two registers. So when user inputs a double value, it is stored in both register F0 and F1. So 32 plus 32, which is equals to 64-bit. So yes, so when here user input the variable, it is stored in both F0 and F1. So here add.d for add double, and here we cannot use register F1 as it already contains some value and which is not default, thus it is not 0. So we are going to use another register, say register F2. So it does not contain any value, so it will take default value, which is 0. So yes, now let's see our output. Let's open our file and let's run. So let's input, hit enter, and yes, the output is correct. So yes, now you know how to take input of float and double from the user. So thanks for watching and stay connected for more videos.